Hello and welcome to the newspaper review here on TAF TV. My name is Cyril Aloysius and thank you so much for joining me. Mr. Victor Sioku is here once again to look at the papers with me.
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for stopping by.
Yeah, how was your night?
My night was good. I can see, Mr. Victor, you haven't told me the secret. Why are you getting bigger? I'm getting thinner. What's going on?
Water and minding my business.
We are in this country together.
Drinking clean water and minding my business.
There must be something you're doing that I'm not doing. I need to know that. What's going on?
Man, I'm cool. I was happy to see Benzema win the
Man, we were all happy, even if some of the awards that were given out last night, really to me, I felt like some of those awards weren't really just. Like, tell us now, the best female footballer. Come on. Sam Kerr had an incredible year. Personally, I don't know about other people's opinion, but personally, I feel like Kerr should have been given that award. But, well, it happened.
Maybe come 2023 election, maybe Tinubu might take the day. And, it's down to the voters, okay. But I think kudos to Benzema. The reason because Benzema has been with Real Madrid since 2009.
Yes.
And he's been going up. In fact, I will not use up. He's been a middle power player, not until just few years ago, just about 2 years ago, that
he was exceptional for Real Madrid.
So what does that mean? It means that sometimes you just have to be patient with your players.
Yeah.
But mind you, it is still not easy. Since 2009 to 2022, that we are talking about, how many players will have about 12 years to be patient in one club? And like a club like the Galacticos.
Well, I felt like Benzema understood that leaving Real Madrid for any other club, especially when they are not chasing you off, would be like degrading yourself. I mean, which club in the world...
It demoralizes you when you don't get time to play football.
Yes.
Like you can stay 2 years, you are fit,
but that to a certain level.
To play football.
But at least when you find yourself in an environment where you know that this environment has what it takes to, give me some individual awards that I'm aspiring to win in the future, then I feel like that's enough motivation to stay around.
Majority of footballers want to play.
Yes,
you want to play football.
Exactly.
So kudos to him, and secondly, kudos to Mane.
Mane, yeah. He represented the African continent very well. I think the first player since George Weah won the award back in 1995 or so.
Yes.
The first player since George Weah, he came second, and I mean, I'm so excited.
But for him to, I was just like, why did they do it?
Mr. Victor, please, we didn't come talk about football today. Let us look at the papers, okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, yesterday was the Ballon d'Or ceremony, and of course, we saw a lot of winners, and of course, we can't say losers because everybody's a winner, and we really appreciated some awards given out. But that's not the main issue for today. Today, we're going to be looking at the newspapers here in Nigeria, and first, we'll be looking first at the Vanguard. Headlines in the Vanguard here says, on page 5, we have floods. Panic as corpses float in Bayelsa Delta cemeteries. Floods, panic as corpses float in Bayelsa Delta cemeteries on page 5 of the Vanguard. Okay. Another interesting headline in the Vanguard here says on page 9, this one says, Labour Party, PDP, tackle Buhari over claims of meeting yearnings of Nigerians. Wow. Labour Party, PDP, tackle Buhari over claims of meeting yearnings of Nigerians. That's on page 5. On page 9, I beg your pardon, of the Vanguard. On page 13, we have Tinubu is saying on page 13 of the Vanguard, we will deal with bandits, other subversive elements, if elected. That's Tinubu, according to Tinubu on page 13 of the Vanguard, says we will deal with bandits, other subversive elements, if elected, according to Tinubu on page 13 of the Vanguard. On page 9, again, we have wages. Strike looms in health, judiciary, civil service, NLC warns. Okay, that's on page 9. On page 11 of the Vanguard, we have Nnamdi Kanu, US ex-envoy, Clark, Azeife, family caution FG. Okay, you can get all the details of that headline on page 11. On page 10, we have Yoruba Nation rally. Police caused sales girls death, according to Corona. Okay, Yoruba Nation rally. Police caused sales girls death. That's Corona saying on page 10 of the Vanguard. On page 8, we have shutdown of broadcast stations in Zamfara. Threat to democracy. That's according to editors on page 8 of the Vanguard. I go again. Shutdown of broadcast stations in Zamfara. Threat to democracy. That's according to editors on page 8 of the Vanguard. Okay, on page 26 of the Vanguard, we have I will tackle insecurity, revive industries if elected. That's according to Atiku on page 26. It says, I will tackle insecurity, revive industries if elected. Atiku is saying on page 26. On page 8, again, we have oil theft. September crude oil production drops by 24.73%. Oil theft. September crude oil production drops by 24.73%. Okay, that's on page 8. And lastly, on page 8, again, we have Nigeria has failed. I will change narrative. That's Peter Obi saying on page 8. Nigeria has failed. I will change narrative, according to Peter Obi on page 8. Okay, that's the much we can take in the Vanguard for today. Mr. Victor, how do you want to react to these headlines?
Okay, the Labour Party and the PDP going blowing hot on the president for making some statements that they did not that didn't go well with them. Like this president saying that he has done a lot for Nigerians. Okay, and
how true is that statement, Mr. Victor?
You know, in life, bro, in life, when you ask a man, have you really done well? In many cases, the man will tell you, yes, I have done well. But it's in as much as, yes, in Buhari's case, in his own thoughts, he might feel that he has really done well. But if you go on the street, you find out that he has really not done well. But
there are a lot of persons who hold opposite views to that.
Yeah, so psychology is coming to play a role there. He made mention of mobilizing the military, our architecture, giving them so much that they need. Like he mentioned about the Air Force having about 36 new aircraft, and they are expecting more 38. Meaning that he has spent so much money, and he has invested so much money in the area of the military. Okay. He also stated that with regards to feeding of school children, that he has also done well. About 10 million Nigerian children are being fed. Okay.
Sorry, Mr. Victor.
By his own numbers and by his own reporting. I know when you go out there, you find out that these numbers, if you ask people out there, you find out that it might not just meet up with these numbers that he's dishing out. Then if you also come to, in terms of roads, he also stated that they have built over 3,000 kilometers worth of roads. Okay. Personally, I must also give kudos to the government, to the Buhari government. Shockingly to you, I guess, but I will give kudos to him with respect to the second Niger Bridge. Okay. The second Niger Bridge, yes, it was started by the then President Goodluck Jonathan, but the administration of the APC and the administration of Buhari, they were able to have almost completed that project. And I bet you with this progress that they are making in less than 6 months, they were talking about December. I don't know how feasible it will be this December, but I believe in the next 6 months, that project should be ready for persons to fly. And that will cut off people like me from entering into Onitsha while going home in Delta State. Okay. But in the other hand, the government of Buhari they failed woefully in the aspect of education.
Just education?
In the aspect of education.
Just education?
Not just education. And in economy.
Just economy and education?
Personally, let me just take these 2 points. You might just, yes, there are other points of the security and the code.
Yes.
Okay? But economy, I need to mention economy very well, because there are 2 things you should, as a leader, give to your people: welfare, which is economy, and security. But let's go back to the economy part. Nigerians are suffering. Just yesterday, the National Bureau of Statistics has released their report again for macroeconomic numbers. And we have that our GDP is growing by 3.45%.
Mr. Victor, a bag of rice is no longer 30-something thousand naira. It is now 40-something thousand.
Yeah, I saw it on the papers yesterday. Okay. But yes, the GDP has been growing, but you ask yourself, 7 years ago, where was the GDP? Our GDP, yes, it is recovering from where they started from. Okay? But when you now come to inflation, our inflation has gone high, has made record of 17 years record. Our inflation last month, it was around 2.54%. Sorry, 20.54% increment. But just yesterday, the numbers came out and it is 20.77%. What about food inflation? My brother, coupled with the flooding that has just happened, the food inflation is over 22%. And by November, we're in October, by the time November report comes out, you find out that, I bet you, I am not preaching doom to the country, but I'm very sure that food
it is what it is.
We hit 25%. Coupled with the flooding that has just happened, that have just ravaged most part of the country.
To worsen things up.
Yes. But he has also come out to say, see, in terms of aviation, that his administration is doing very well. Because Nigerian Air, the flyer, Nigerian Air, will be in operation come December.
Mr. Victor, please react to that statement.
Okay.
I need you to react to that statement. Buhari claiming that his administration has done well. Please react to that statement because personally, I'm boiling inside of me. I don't find that statement funny in any way because I know what I have in mind right now concerning the government of Buhari. I mean, well, react to it, please. React to it.
Yes, for the transportation that I've mentioned aviation. Yes, by December the Nigerian Air will start operation. But you ask yourself, before this administration entered into power, how much was the cost of flying from Port Harcourt to Abuja?
Question.
We are talking about, back in those days, we are talking about 18,000, 20,000 maximum. But right now, if you don't have 70,000 at the back of your pocket, you cannot make that single trip. If you want to make to and fro, go and keep 150,000 naira. Something we are using about maximum 40K to make the trip. So you find out that, like I mentioned, in terms of economy, they have failed woefully. Then you come to agriculture. My brother, back then, there were policies and investments towards small-scale industries. Whether you are in the agriculture sector, whether you are in fintech or name it, you will get a sort of grants from the government that will help you with your agricultural products. Go take a look right now. Back in those days, during the Goodluck Jonathan, you find out that fish farming was in order of the day.
Oh, Mr. Victor,
go and check the price of fish.
Mr. Victor, if a government fails in economy, fails in security, fails in education, fails in health, what is left, Mr. Victor, of that government?
Well, I still have a positive.
What is left of that government?
I know some persons
you have failed in economy, you have failed in security,
I know some
you have failed in health, you have failed in the necessary parts that you should not fail in, and you are telling me your government was a successful government. How, Mr. Victor? How?
Well, I also need to state with respect to the transportation part of it. I think the government of Buhari, they've done well in a way in transportation. Okay, it might be crazy for you. Yes, it might not just be boom. It might not just be big. Okay, but in terms of real transportation in this country, yes, we do not enjoy that. We don't enjoy that in the south, and that's where the marginalization thing comes to play. Because be like, okay, this real investment has been focused in the north and in the south, in the southwest.
Yes,
major part of the north and in the southwest. What is happening with the southeast and the south-south? Where some persons will say that is where the money is coming to the federal. Well, that is not our topic for today. But when you come in terms of rail, yes, let us not also forget about the Itape rail line that goes from Warri down to Lukuja,
Okay.
down to Kogi State. Okay, that is also personally I see it as a very very good project. Okay, but in general, if you ask me to give a pass mark to this to this, yes, he still has up to May 29th, and he's been pushing. He's been telling his minister, see, you guys should go and finish up this project we have in hand.
Mr. Victor, and I keep asking, must it get to this dying moment before he tells his minister, go and finish up this project, before he begins to make these steps? What happened 2-3 years ago? What happened? That's the question. Why must it be now when the elections are near? When he's aware that he will soon hand over... Mr. Victor.
Well, I will still give him the benefit of that. He said that we should give him till May 29th.
Oh,
yes,
really?
So
if I'm to take a guess, he intends to do almost everything he didn't do in the past 4 years in the next few months remaining. Wow. Okay, moving straight now to the Daily Sun, where we have some other interesting headlines coming up. We have here another interesting one on page 6. This one says, we have done very well, says but I think it's the same, again, the same headline we just read now in the Vanguard. Okay, we've seen that one before. Another interesting one here says on page 27, federal government denies Atiku campaign rally venue in Kaduna. Federal government denies Atiku campaign rally venue in Kaduna. Okay, ex-vice president begs Kaduna electorate to give him winning votes as in 2019. Wow, that's on page 27. You want more details on that headline, get a copy of the papers for yourself. On page 6, we have Tinubu to Atiku, endorse my candidacy. Tinubu to Atiku, endorse my candidacy. That's Tinubu saying to Atiku, says endorse my candidacy on page 6 of Daily Sun. Get more details of that headline on page on Daily Sun newspaper. On page 27 again, we have Northern President Atiku's comment, if true, threat to Nigeria's unity. That's according to Wike on page 27. Northern President Atiku's comment, if true, threat to Nigeria's unity. That's Wike saying on page 27 of Daily Sun. On page 27 again, we have editors describe shutting of 4 broadcasting stations by Zamfara government, threat to democracy. That's on page 27. I go again. Editors describe shutting of 4 broadcasting stations by Zamfara government, a threat to democracy. That's on page 27 of Daily Sun. On page 5, we have gunmen kill 2, injure others in Kogi church. Gunmen kill 2 and injure others in Kogi church. And lastly, on page 7, we have proscription of pro-Biafra group. Proscription of pro-Biafra group. IPOB makes startling revelation on Malami's memo to Buhari. Obey court order. Free Kanu, according to Clark, on page 7. Okay? Proscription of pro-Biafra group. IPOB makes startling revelation on Malami's memo to Buhari. Obey court order. Free Kanu, according to Clark, on page 7 of Daily Sun. Mr. Victor, please, how do you react to the headlines?
Okay, the campaigns are ongoing and plenty of reactions. I think I will need to come from the aspect of Zamfara State, what is happening in Zamfara
State.
Okay,
the shutting of the 4 broadcasting stations.
Yes. So the people that have powers right now are really showing off their powers, okay? It starts from River State, you continue with Kaduna, then Zamfara State. Okay. Now in Zamfara State, the governor came out and shut down 5 broadcasting stations. Yes, they mentioned 4 there. Okay. But from other people, some say 5. Okay, out of the 5, 2 are federal government. Okay, 3 are privately owned. 2 are the government owned, and 3 from the private sector. Okay, what happened, you ask? Mr. Matawale, that's the governor of Zamfara State, is from APC. Okay, and going into the election, his opposition, Mr. Dari of PDP, got back to his state, got back to Zamfara State from Abuja, and the crowd that welcomed him was just too much that, it caused some kind of friction in the state. Okay. Now, what also happened during the rally, in quotes, they say that somebody died because the opposition side came with their talks. In quotes, these are just reports, okay? But after that incident, the governor went angry about what happened, and also for the fact that those broadcasting channels broadcasted the event.
Okay.
And can you imagine? He was able to shut down NTA, Nigeria Television Authority.
Wow.
So then you ask, what is NBC doing about this? That's the National Broadcasting NBC Corporation doing about this, because they are the regulators here.
Yes.
Why would the governor?
Because it's the governor.
Yes, just because of will I say political friction, shut down these businesses, because when
they were clearly doing their jobs.
Yes. So I do not see where the broadcasting channels have
went wrong. Yes.
Because they did not spread, for me, they did not spread fake news.
Fake news, yes.
They only reported an event.
Okay.
That aside, but if you also check, you made mention that in Kaduna State, the PDP were stopped from using a venue.
Yes.
Same thing is happening in Ebonyi State. Same thing is happening in Rivers State. In fact, in Rivers State, we have the governor has come out to release a decree that if you don't have up to 5 million security fee, as in deposit fee, to use any government establishment or space or field or school, if you don't have that money and you do not give a notice of 2 weeks, you will not be allowed to use its facility. That is so hard on political parties. Not just, I know right now people might be like, the PDP, the Labour Party should have such money. What about the Pdp'S? What about the Wike? What about people contesting for just National Assembly positions?
Other parties who are still coming up.
Yes. How will they be able to pull out 5 million naira? You ask. But that's the government we have right now. The head makes sure that it suppresses the ones below. Well, going forward, I do not know what will come out of what the NBC, because the NBC.
But do you feel like Governor Wike's decision to make that particular declaration? Do you feel like that particular declaration is targeted at a specific party in particular?
It's targeted at all opposition, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
Yeah, it's targeted at all opposition. Because if you go and dig deep, I'm not a prophet here, but if you go and dig deep, find out that the Pdp'S will be having their way.
Okay.
The PDP'S will be having their way. Already, the local government chairman have gone to the radio to scream on their voices that, see, if you dare come to our community to use our schools without the abiding by the rules of from the governor, that means you want to face fire. So, but if you go and check out, you find out that, see, in the coming weeks, you find out that the PDP in this state, in fact, in quote, is their property. They can do and undo those structures.
Okay.
That's the politics that we play in this country, unfortunately. What about, lastly, what about what's happening with the flood victims? These guys are using their political accessories, their political merchandise to campaign, but in quote, they are coming in the guise that they are delivering humanitarian goods to the people that are suffering from this from the flood victims we have here in Rivers State. So these politicians, they use different ways and means to get what they want. That's what's happening.
Okay, so shortly we'll be going straight to our next and last paper for today. But before we do that, we'll go on a short break. And when we return, more headlines coming your way. Do stay tuned.
Now that you have registered for your PVC, it doesn't stop there. Ensure you pick up your PVC. Be alert. Join many Nigerians to vote credible leaders that will change the tide of this nation. Do not sell your vote. Remember, this is our future. Your vote is your voice.
This message is proudly brought to you by Thav Media Limited.
It is still the newspaper review here on TAP TV, and you're very much welcome back from that short break. Okay, we'll be looking at lastly at the Nation newspaper, where we have other interesting headlines. This one here says, "My plans for prosperous united Nigeria" by Tinubu. My plans for prosperous united Nigeria by Tinubu. Okay, another headline here says, "My administration's scorecard" by Buhari. My administration's scorecard by Buhari. Okay. On page 41, we have Ogun PDP suspends 5. Ogun PDP suspends 5. Okay, that's on page 41. On page 9, we have fear of job loss in oil sector over energy transition. Fear of job loss in oil sector over energy transition. That's on page 9 of the Nation. On page 6, we have 2023 INEC chair not under pressure to quit, according to BVAs BVAs to be deployed. I beg your pardon. 2023 INEC chair not under pressure to quit. BVAs to be deployed. That's on page 6 of the Nation. On page 7, we have Wike. PDP should apologize for Atiku's comment. Wike, PDP should apologize for Atiku's comment. That's on page 7. You want more details, get a copy of the Nation for yourself. And lastly, on page 42, we have "I will unlock Nigeria's greatness," says Obi. "I will unlock Nigeria's greatness," says Obi, on page 42 of the Nation. Okay, that's the much we can take in the Nation. Mr. Victor, please, how do you react to headlines in the Nation?
Okay, I think let me go through the political space, what's happening between the three major parties and more.
Okay.
I think I would like to start with what happened in Ebonyi State.
Okay.
Over there in Ebonyi State, a candidate of the Labour Party has been kidnapped. Okay, and
you feel it's political?
Yeah, it's political. It's fully political. Okay. A whole lot of developing news are coming out from it. I believe by tomorrow we should have a bigger picture of that. Okay. Then we have Atiku and Tinubu meeting. They met at the Kaduna airport. Is it Kaduna airport? I think Kaduna airport. Okay. Sorry, they met at Abuja airport actually. Okay. What happened? Just after their meetings, they had their meetings yesterday. I know they were just blowing hot and hot. But we just saw the video where these two persons were having fun, greeting themselves, making jokes. One was even a supporter of Atiku, a PDP stalwart, was just hailing Tinubu, Jagaban, Jagaban.
So,
just making
Mr. Victor, what picture do you feel that should paint in the minds of young, should I say, political enthusiasts coming up, some other, young persons coming up who actually want to do some stuff just to ensure that their preferred candidate gets victory come next election? What do you feel that particular picture should paint?
If you like, go and kill yourself. That is what I'm trying to preach here. These people are still friends.
Exactly.
When we are done with all these things, they will still go and meet.
Exactly.
They will dine. They will eat fat rat.
Forget what you see on the papers. Forget what you see on the papers and on the screen.
You don't have to kill yourself over these persons.
Yes.
Yesterday, they were just having fun.
Their children are not even in the country.
They were just having fun.
Yes.
Jagaban, Jagaban. Even the PDP national chairman even gave him they fisted bombs together.
Oh, Mr. Victor, I feel like Nigerians are wiser now.
Damn.
I feel like they're wiser now.
I pray. But look at what is happening. There are still killings happening over. Even in Kaduna, the same Kaduna that they went to yesterday, there was opposing thugs that came to attack the PDP in Kaduna. If you see where they were hitting wood, my brother, hitting wood on people's head yesterday, and the same yesterday, these two candidates that you guys are fighting over came together and we're hailing each other. They asking how you did, guy, how you did, and we are killing ourselves. So bad, my brother. Really
it's a
bad.
sad one. It's a sad one.
Down to the Labour Party, P2B has come out to say, see, yes, the papers are out. I think when I mean manifestos are out. Tinubu released his economic manifesto, his economic blueprint. Same with the Labour Party. That's the P2B. But P2B made a statement that, see, these manifestos that we are releasing, forget about what you are seeing people writing up and down, showing you very sweet words they are using. That is very easy to get this thing written. You can go and call a professor, give him money. The professor will write all these things down for you, and you come up here and you'll be dishing them out to the citizens. That this year's politics, this year's election should not just be about rhetorics. They should be about trust. Are you willing to trust this person? What is this person's track record? Are you getting me? So it's about character and trust. And I think that is where Nigeria should also look at. Among these three candidates, go and search deeply, because we have been promised a lot in this country.
Yes.
Look at 8 years ago.
Exactly what I
Look at 4 years
what
ago.
I was saying. It's not about the
Where are we
promises.
today?
These same sweet words we are hearing now from these politicians were the same sweet words. In fact, sweeter words were heard back then from the same set of politicians when they were coming for, trying to get our vote and all that for election. After they got what they wanted, how far? How far? So I keep asking, what are the mechanisms that will be put in place to ensure that these politicians are brought to book should they decide to go against their promises? Because it is possible. It is very, very possible for, I'm human. I mean, they're human as well. Let me say, okay, after all, I'm now in power, so what's there? So what are those mechanisms that will be put in place to checkmate and ensure that they live up to their promises? And should they decide to go back on their promises, then they are brought to book for it.
Now, it's down to the electorate and it's down to our INEC. If the system is good, a politician that comes in will know that, see, I need to work this work. Knowing that if I do not perform, the people will kick me out. Look at what is happening in the UK. Liz Truss, the few weeks that she has been given to rejig the economy, she has failed. What are they saying now? That from reports coming up, she might lose her position straight up. No compromise.
That
no,
is it, Mr.
please,
Victor.
Sorry, give me another chance. So they will put you out.
That is it.
And put in somebody that will push the economy, that will push the country.
That is it.
To go forward.
Straight up, Mr. Victor, straight up.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Mr. Victor, thank you so much once again. I really do appreciate you.
Thank you, sir.
I appreciate your time on the program with me today. And I also appreciate